guys, welcome to Classic Sitcoms, Facts, and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Before we get started, I ask you to please subscribe. Please share these out. Thank you. Today's video is on some things you might not know about Betty White. Some facts about Betty White. One terrific lady. Pretty cool lady. Let's take a look.
Her name was Betty, not Elizabeth. January 7, 1922 in Oak Park, Illinois. The future television icon was born Betty Marion White, the only child of homemaker Christine Tess and lighting company executive Horace Logan White. In her autobiography, entitled If You Ask Me, and of course you won't, White explained her parents named her Betty specifically because they didn't like many of the nicknames derived from Elizabeth. She's in the Guinness World Book of Records. In the 2014 edition of the record-keeping tomb, White was awarded the title of the longest TV career for an entertainer female for her more than 70 years in show business. Her first television appearance is lost to history. Even White couldn't remember the name of the show she had made her screen debut on in 1939, but in an interview with Guinness World Records, she recounted the life-changing event, saying, "I danced on an experimental TV show, the first on the West Coast in downtown LA. I wore my high school graduation dress, and our Beverly Hills High School student body president, Harry Bennett, and I danced the Merry Little Waltz." Her initial rise to stardom was derailed by World War II. Before she took off on television, White was working in theater, on radio, and as a model. With World War II, she shelved her ambitions and joined the American Women's Voluntary Services. Her days were devoted to delivering supplies via PX truck throughout the Hollywood Hills, but her nights were spent at arousing dances thrown to give a grand send-off to soldiers set to ship out. On that era, she told Cleveland Magazine, "It was a strange time and out of balance with everything." Her first sitcom hit was in the early 1950s. Co-hosting the Al Jarvis show Hollywood on Television led to White producing her own vehicle, Life with Elizabeth. As a rare female producer, she developed the show alongside emerging writer-producer George Tibbles, who would later go on to work on shows Dennis the Menace, Leave It to Beaver, and The Munsters. Though the show is not remembered much today, in 1951, it did earn White her first of 21 Emmy nominations. Out of these, she won 5 times. From 62 to 71, White hosted NBC's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade alongside Bonanza's Lorne Greene. And for 20 years, she was a color commentator for NBC's annual Tournament of Roses Parade. However, as her fame grew on CBS, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, NBC decided they should pull White and all rival promotions that came with her from the parade. She was married 3 times. White and her first husband, Dick Barker, were married and divorced in the same year, 1945. After 4 months on Barker's rural Ohio chicken farm, White fled back to LA in her career as an entertainer. Soon after, she met agent Lane Allen, who became her husband in 1947, and her ex-husband in 1949, after he pushed her to quit show business. She wouldn't marry again until 1963, after she fell for widower father of 3 game show host Alan Ludden. Her meet cute with husband number 3 happened on Password. Bubbly Betty was a regular on the game show circuit, but she met her match in 1961 when she was a celebrity guest on Password, hosted by Alan Ludden. Though White initially rebuffed Ludden's engagement ring, he wore it around his neck until she changed her mind. The pair stayed together until his death in 1981. Today, their stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame sit side by side. She originally auditioned for the role of Blanche on The Golden Girls. Producers of the series thought of White for the role of the ensemble's promiscuous party girl because she long played the lusty Sue Ann Nivens on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Meanwhile, they added Rue McClanahan for the part of the naive country bumpkin Rose Nyland because of her work as the sweet but dopey Vivian Harmon on Maude. Director Jay Sandrich was worried about typecasting, so he asked the two to switch roles in audition, and just like that, the Golden Girls history was made. She passed on a role in As Good as It Gets because of an animal cruelty scene. White was offered the part of Beverly Connolly, on-screen mother to Helen Hunt, in the Oscar-winning movie As Good as It Gets, but the devoted animal lover was horrified by the scene where Jack Nicholson, curmudgeonly anti-hero, pitches a small dog down the trash chute of his apartment building. On the Joy Behar show, White explained, "All I could think of was all the people out there watching that movie. And if there's a dog in the building that's barking and they don't like, boom, they do it." She complained to director James Brooks in hopes of having the scene cut. Instead, he kept it and cast Shirley Knight in the role. A Facebook campaign made White the oldest person to ever host Saturday Night Live. 2010, a Facebook page group called Betty White to host SNL, Please, garnered so many fans, nearly 1 million, and so much media attention that SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels was happy to make it happen. At 88 years old, White set a new record. Her episode, for which many of the show's female alums returned, also won rave reviews and gave the show's highest ratings in 18 months. White won her 5th Emmy for the performance. She was the oldest person to earn an Emmy nomination. 2014, while she earned an Emmy nod for Outstanding Host for reality competition program for the senior citizen-centric prank show Betty White's Off Their Rockers. She was 92. She wanted Robert Redford. The ever-quotable White once gave this cheeky confession: "My answer to anything under the sun, like, what have you not done in the business that you've always wanted to do, is Robert Redford." Though she had more than 110 film and television credits on her filmography, White never worked with the Out of Africa star, who was 14 years her junior.
In her 99 years, she sure did a lot. And they say she, as far as Alan Ludden goes, her last husband said she never stopped loving him. You can't say she mourned herself to death because she lived to be 99, but I think she had a depression over that for a lot of years. And I thought the Saturday Night Live thing was cool too, even though Saturday Night Live hasn't been good for decades. But having her guest host was, I'll give them a props for that, kudos for that. That's all I got for you. I hope you had will have a great day. God bless you. And don't forget about classic, rock, and country music facts and trivia. Link is in the description below. If you need the link, just holler at me in the comments and I'll send it right to you. There was something else. Oh yeah, I'll be praying for you.